friends. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. It's Miss Holly, and I am here in my home today to teach you the lesson. And you are probably joining me from your home. And so I just thought we'd start by taking a moment to give thanks to God that we have a home to live in. It is such a good gift, isn't it? To have a home where you can feel safe, where you have a bed to sleep in, where you can eat good food at a table with your family, with people you love. That is such a good gift from God. What is your favorite room in your house? Or maybe it's not a room, maybe it's your yard or your garden. What is your favorite place in your home? That's great. My favorite room in my house is my dining room. I love to sit at the table with my family and enjoy a meal. And we have a big window where I can look out and watch the birds. We can be thankful to God for the homes that He's given us to live in. But you know, when I think of the word home, I don't want us to just think about the house or the apartment, the building where we live. Because you know, God created all that's outside, all of the earth, to be a home for His creation. And today we are going to learn about something amazing, how God created everything out of nothing at all. He created the whole universe, including our earth. And I want us to turn our minds and our hearts on in a special way today, because most of you, like me, have probably heard the story before of how God created the world. But I want us to hear it and be amazed today in a new way. And I want us to think about how God took so much care and looked after every detail to make perfect homes for all His creatures. Isn't it wonderful just to walk outside where you live, in your yard or your neighborhood, and see God's creatures enjoying their habitats, their homes that God made for them? He made homes for bugs, for birds, for other animals like squirrels and rabbits. But not just for them. He made a home for His most important creation, and that's you and me, people. So before we get into our lesson, which comes from the book of Genesis today in the Bible, I wanted to show you some video footage that I got just when I walked outside and started to pay attention to all the amazing creatures that God made, enjoying the homes that He made for them. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you again in just a minute.
Look at that snail go. He's so slow. Slippery and cool and slimy.
Yes.
Did you like the videos? Did you have a favorite creature that you liked watching? I think my favorite might be the snail. Amazing to watch a snail, isn't it? Well, I want us to turn on our ability to wonder and be amazed today as we open the Bible to the first book in the Bible, the book of Genesis. And if you have a Bible with you, you can open it up or you can pause this and go and get it. And not only are we going to look at the first book in the Bible, we're going to look and start at the very beginning in the first verse of the Bible. And before I start to tell you about this story of creation, I just want to read you the first verses. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. You see, the first thing that is important for us to know is that at the very beginning of time, there was nothing. It says the earth was without form and void, and it was just darkness. There was nothing, but there was God. You see, God was there. No one made God. He was always there. And when the Bible uses that word created, it means made out of nothing. You see, we can make things, can't we? Sometimes we like to make things. We can make things with clay, like sculptures. We can even build something with wood and nails, like a table or even a house. Or we can build very large buildings with metal and stone. But we humans, we can't make something out of nothing. Only God has the power to do that. He made the heavens and the earth. Let's go on in our story. The first thing God did was to make light and darkness. He just spoke, and day and night appeared. Why do we need daylight? It helps us to see and to get up as we work and we play. Why do we need darkness? That is a time for us to rest and to sleep. God had made day and night, but the earth was not yet ready to be a good home. So God continued to make it ready. God made the sky. Now the earth had light and darkness, day and night, and now wonderful fresh air and blue sky. What would God create next? He spoke and made the land and the seas. Then he caused grass, vegetables, beautiful flowers, and useful trees to grow on the dry land. We could use wood to build houses and furniture. We could eat fruit from trees. We could sit in the shade of a tree on a hot day. Yes, God made these things for us to use and enjoy. Then God made the sun to warm the earth and help the plants to grow and make food. God also made the moon and the stars to shine during the dark nights. God was pleased with all that he had made. Now the beautiful, rich earth was ready to be a home for his creatures. So God made fish and other water creatures. Then he filled the skies with birds of every kind. God gave each sea creature just what it needed to live in the ocean. He gave fish bodies that glide easily through the currents, and gills to get oxygen from the water. God also made birds in a special way so that they could fly high in the sky or from tree to tree. He made their bones hollow, and he gave them feathers. Then God made the animals that live on land. He made moles that live in the ground. He put monkeys, elephants, and tigers in jungles. The forest became a home for deer and squirrels. Sheep and cows live in grassy fields. These animals have lungs to breathe fresh air. Those that live where it's cold, they have thick coats to protect them from snow and wind. God gave each animal he made the body it needed to live in the habitat, the home he had made for it. Wow. Now, God's creation was almost finished. Each creature had its perfect home. And everything God made was good. And he said that it was good. But there is something special that I need to tell you. You see, the whole world that God made was to be a perfect home for his most wonderful creation, you and me. We can be very thankful for the home that God has made for us. Now, why did God make us? Why did he make people? And why did God consider people the best of all of his creation? The answer to this is so important for our hearts. God made us so that he could love us and so that we could love him in return. To love God is the whole reason for our life, and it's what we desire most, to be loved by God and to love him. And next week, we're going to talk more about the creation of the first man and woman and the special role and relationship that we have as people with God, our Creator. Well, before we come to the end of our lesson, I wanted to take just a moment to introduce you to another question from our catechism. Remember, we looked at the first question from the New City Catechism for Kids last week. Do you remember that question? What is our only hope in life and death? And do you remember the answer to that question? That we are not our own, but belong to God. And when we know that God made us, we can understand that we belong to God. And we know, and we'll talk about next week, how God made us for such a wonderful purpose. I want to also look at the second question in our catechism, and you can find it in your book. Or look at it with me. What is God? Or, as my daughter mentioned to me, it might sound better to us to say, who is God? Because we know that we can relate to God like a father, like a person. What is God? Here's our answer. God is the creator of everyone and everything. And remember from our lesson today how amazing it is that God simply spoke. He didn't have to work hard. He didn't mess up a couple of times and then redo it. He simply spoke and made all things out of nothing. That is God. God is the creator of everyone and everything. Now, God made you in his image, and you too can be creative with what he has given you around you. So if you have your creativity kits, you can look inside and find some ways to be creative as you remember our story of creation. Some of you may have a wooden leaf inside, and you can take some markers that you have or other art materials and color that leaf. Or you may have an animal mask inside your kit, and you can decorate and color that to remember all of the animals that God made and the homes he made for them. Or you may have other art supplies around your house, and you can use those to remember the beauty of the creation that God made and all the details that went into making those perfect homes for his creatures. And if you need a kit and you don't have one, you can get in touch with me and I will make sure you get one. Well, before we go, remember, I want you to go out this week and be filled with wonder and with thanks and give praise to God as you see all of the things that he made. They are like a message to your heart to remind you of God, our Creator, who made all things, who is powerful, who is eternal, and yet who wants to have a relationship with us and to love us and care for us so well. I hope you remember and treasure that in your hearts this week. And as we go, I'm going to leave you with a little video of some of my favorite creatures that God made, enjoying the home that he made for them. See you next week.